So I want to get started with the iPad game of the week. And then we will get into some iPad news a little bit later. So let me plug my little thing in here. And today we're talking about another Chillingo game because I love what Chillingo puts out. And this game is actually not one of their mainstream titles. It's one of their smaller releases. It's called Big Boss, Wackyland's Big Boss to be specific. It's developed by Fair Play Labs and of course published by Chillingo, like I said. You can buy it in the App Store for $1.99, which is super cheap. And let me turn up my volume here. So this is the main screen. Pretty cute. What I really like about this game is you get to be the boss this time around. Instead of always defeating the boss, you actually get to go and defeat all the little townspeople, which I think is a really interesting twist on the kind of action-adventure game. This is my character. Of course, I named her Big Red because I have red hair, even though she's blue. You can change the color of your boss later on once you level them up. So this is the main screen. As you can see, there's a number of different options. They have Crystal enabled if you want to get into the online leaderboards. And they also have a really neat option where you can choose between using a virtual D-pad or using swipe options. And we're going to use swipe because I think it is a much better representation and it utilizes the interface of the iPad so much better. I think maybe D-pad would be helpful if you were working on an iPhone screen because it's so much smaller. Right. So we're going to go ahead and show you some gameplay. Which is really kind of neat is they have this North Pole Kingdom that has all these kind of Christmassy themes. I mean, I'm a little over Christmas because it was just a couple months ago. Agreed. So I'm going to show you the Trogan Plains. There's a couple different levels here that you can work your way through. As you can see, I haven't gotten that far because the game is actually surprisingly hard. So I'm going to take you through the first level so you can take a look at it. So you have your boss here, and you move them by moving around on the iPad screen, and you you kill the little guys by just tapping on them. And there's two different kinds of attacks. There's a heavy attack and a light attack. It's a little bit more defined when you use the virtual D-pad, which attack you're using. Because right now, I would be doing the equivalent of a button masher if this had buttons. I think it's funny, one less happy ending, because we're the boss and we want to make sure everyone dies. Oh, there's a cow. Look it, you can throw the cow. Oh no, they're hitting me. If you swipe downwards, you can do a somersault and move around the screen. And you also have power-ups. So let's say I want to breathe some fire. I can make them nice and toasty. So basically, this is the gist of gameplay. You're just a big boss, and you're traveling through, and you have enemies coming after you, trying to kill you. And you just gotta take them out, one guy at a time. Oh, perfect, there's a princess. In this game, you don't rescue the princess, you eat the princess. Yum, yum. I thought that was hilarious the first time. I was like, I get to eat the princess? That's just awesome. As you can see here, I'm wearing a karate gi, which is kind of weird. And my weapons here are a pitchfork, a knife, a mace, and a sword, all kind of banded together. And I have a cute little pick bow. And I have another power-up. Big stomp. Get out of the corner. There we go. Okay, time to light them all on fire. Yeah. Nice. And you earn these power-ups here at the top as you proceed through the game. The more bosses you beat, the more power-ups you can get. And they recommend if for some reason you run into a boss that's too hard, then you can go back to the beginning levels like I just did with this one and level your character up a little bit more so you can get stronger before you go after some of those bosses in the deeper levels, which is really quite necessary because some of them have special powers that are really difficult to defeat. So this is the basic gameplay, which is pretty fun, actually, and it requires some skill being able to move around on the screen. Sometimes I get frustrated because my fingers just kind of all mashed together. But you can do a double tap here too. You can hit one side each. That's what I like about the swipe version versus the D-pad. The D-pad, you actually have to hit the left and right buttons on the cross pad to actually move around, and I found that much more difficult. And this one, like I said, really uses the iPad touchscreen really well. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause the game up here and quit out so I can show you how I can upgrade my boss. Because that's one of the really fun parts about Wackyland's Big Boss. So this is the main upgrade screen, and there's two ways you can upgrade. You can evolve and equip. So under evolve, you can really customize your boss to how you want them to look. Since I'm a girl and I love playing with badass girls, I made my boss look like a chick, clearly. But you can make them look like almost anything. You can give them funny eyes. You can make them really crazy.
Wow.
That is nice. And you can change the kind of mouth that they have.
Wow.
Yes, it is wow. Isn't that awesome? One big tooth maybe. And these are the different kinds of monsters you can be. And as you can see, you have to unlock them as you go along. Now I have 3 unlocked right now. I have the latest one that I unlocked is the furry beast. So we'll change over to him. And then all of these other things are different based off which character you have. So let's say I want to have blue arms or a blue body with fuzzy arms or a green body. You can actually change a lot of the features. And under equip is where you're going to start looking at your actual weapons and upgrades. Now there's hats, of course. I have the bow. You can get a baseball cap, a jester hat. They have a disguise. And down here on the bottom, it shows you what kind of different upgrades. If they give you more strength, more shielding, more mobility, or more agility, which is really kind of interesting to watch. You can see how the numbers change. They turn green if it ups from where you currently are, and they turn red if it actually brings you down. So I really think this is a really fun little game. The inventory system is pretty simple. Sometimes these games can have really complicated inventories. If you guys remember my review of Infinity Blade, that was one of my major criticisms of that game, is that the inventory system was just so ridiculous and so complex and so deep. You would literally have to play through the game hundreds of times in order to complete that inventory. And this is really simple, and it's really cute and fun, and you can really customize your boss how you see fit, and you can name them whatever you want. And they have 12 different levels across 4 different scenarios: forest, ice, village, and castle, plus the 4 North Pole Kingdom scenario. And I just really love this game, and it's only $1.99. It's $2, and it's completely worth it, and I highly recommend you guys check it out if you're looking for a fun new game of the week.